are selling your house, you may wind up accepting an offer that has a home inspection. You may actually have buyers who want to do pre-home inspections. That's a home inspection before they even write you an offer. So how can you be prepared for that home inspection so that your house is presented in the best light possible? That's what we're talking about today, and we're starting right now. I'm Sherry Ann Green with Coldwell Banker. Welcome to my YouTube channel that guides home sellers and home buyers in Washington, D.C. and Northern Virginia. The first tip in preparing your home for a home inspection is keeping it show ready. You've spent a lot of time getting your curb appeal right and the inside of your house tidied up and neat and prepared for visitors. Keep it that way through the inspection. Part of what the buyer and the home inspector are doing is looking at the home and its care. As you go through as a buyer to look, you immediately fall in love with the house, its design, its layout, its location. You're not necessarily during that home tour looking for problems, but during the home inspection they are. They will be looking to see if everything works and everything is functional and that the maintenance on the house has been properly done. So make sure that you keep your home and show ready so that when they show up, you're still presenting that beautiful picture that you were from the start. The second tip in preparing for your home inspection is to open up. Unlock anything that the buyer and the home inspector will need access to. Think about gates, security gates, the garage door, the lock on the shed, the lock on the pool house. Maybe your utility closet is locked. Anything that needs a key or needs to be unlocked, open that up or leave a detailed note for how the home inspector can access and locate and unlock these items. You want the buyer and their inspector to be able to find everything that they need. And if they can't, they may assume that there is something wrong with that item because you've not given them access to take a look at it. So open up, leave the keys that are needed to unlock things or open them up before you go so that the buyer and the home inspector can find what they're looking for the full inspection. Going along with that opening up is make sure you leave any remote controls or key fobs that the buyer would need to access different parts of the home or to make certain parts of the home function. So think about, do you have blinds that are on a remote control or ceiling fans that are on a remote control? Is there a key to your gas fireplace? Is the pilot light lit to your gas fireplace? Is there a remote control for the garage? Any of those things that open up with a special device need to be left out and labeled so the buyer and their inspector can find those things and use them during the home inspection. Again, if something can't be tested, they make the assumption that the item is broken, and therefore your buyer may ask for a credit or a repair to something that doesn't need that. While we're at it, talking about remote controls, make sure that anything that works on a battery has a battery in it that is working. Smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, the garage door remote, the remote to the fan, the remote to the blinds. Anything that functions on a battery that will convey to the buyer, you need to make sure the battery is in the device and that the battery is working before the home inspection. Remove any obstruction that is in the way to a system or an appliance being reached and tested by the home inspector and the buyer. So if you keep the door to the attic pushed all the way up and it's very hard to open that up for them. If there's something sitting in front of the electrical box and they would never find it unless you move that piece of art or that mirror, go ahead and move that so they have easy access to that. Move any obstruction to any appliance or system that the buyer is going to want to check. Make sure for every fixture and every recessed light, anywhere you have a light bulb, there's a light bulb in the socket and it works. Again, they're going to look and check every single light in the house, from the light under the microwave to the lights over the fireplace to the light in the attic. And if there is an outlet that is missing a bulb or the bulb is burned out, the assumption will be that the socket doesn't work, and that will show up on your report. So just go around the house and make sure that every single light bulb works before the home inspection. When's the last time you changed your HVAC filter? If you haven't done it right before you put it on the market within the last 3 months, do that now before the home inspection. The buyer is looking to see that the home is well loved and well maintained, and sometimes we forget to change that air filter in a timely fashion. So go ahead and change it. It'll be a nice gesture for the new owner, and it will also show that you are taking care of your home in the proper fashion. Leave any special instructions that are needed to work anything in the house. We've talked about remotes and batteries and access to different parts of the house. But if there's something that is really unique to your home and sort of hard to work unless someone knows the secret, leave a note for the buyer or the buyer's agent so that they can find that and access or work anything in the home that is unusual. Unload your dishwasher, your washing machine, and your dryer. The inspector is going to run a short cycle in each of these appliances. And so what we want to make sure is that we don't wash something or dry something on a temperature that's not going to be appropriate. So go ahead and take any of your laundry out of the washer and the dryer and any of your dishes out of the dishwasher so that those 2 cycles can be run without problems. While you're at it, take anything out of the oven. If you are like me and you store your grandmother's cast iron skillet in the oven or maybe your bundt pan, take all of those items out as well and just leave them on the counter. The inspector is going to turn on your oven, so it's nice if those items aren't in there heating up along with the oven. On the day of the inspection, remove or crate any pets that you have. Pets get very much underfoot when there are strangers in the house, and we don't want the inspector stepping on your dog or your cat or tripping over them, or we don't want your pet to be upset that there are people in the house rummaging around, which is what it's going to look like to your pet. So if you crate your pet successfully during the day, make sure you do that. If you don't, consider taking the pet with you as you leave the house or boarding the pet for the day so that it has a place to go and play and be comfortable. Remove any pets or crate them the day of the inspection. Make sure that all your utilities are still on and functioning. So if you're living in the house, this is probably going to be happening. But if you are relocating or if you've already vacated the home, make sure that your electricity and your gas or any other utilities are still working on the day of the inspection. The buyer needs to check everything, and if you've turned off the electricity or the gas, they're not going to be able to check those things, and you might be in for a reinspection, which is going to cost you money. Those utilities also need to stay on all the way through closing. The buyer's going to come back and do a final walkthrough to check everything one more time before they sign. So make sure that you leave those utilities on all the way through the closing process and close those out on the day that you close. You can call the utility companies early and give them your closing day. Just don't shut down your utilities the day that you ratify your contract. If you know there are obvious repairs that need to be made, just make them. It'll make the process of the home inspection go so much smoother. We all have little things around our house that we just never get to because it doesn't bother us. Maybe there's a GFCI in the guest bathroom that we don't worry about because we haven't had a guest in 2020 because of the pandemic, or maybe there's something else. Go ahead and have those repaired. Trust me, the buyer will find them or their home inspector will find them. And again, it just leads to wonder and concern that there might be other things they're not finding, that the home isn't being properly maintained or being turned over to them as they purchase it in the best condition it can. So minor repairs, even if there's something major you know they're going to find, it may behoove you to go ahead and take care of that before the home inspection. There are a lot of things to think about when you go to sell your house, and I'm here to help. My channel is dedicated to residential real estate, the buying process and the selling process. So make sure you watch this video next. I think you'll find it helpful in your selling process. And while you're here, subscribe so that you don't miss a video about selling your house.